Samantha was quick to swat at his arm and pout at his reaction as I was preparing to leave. I had one of the staff grab the bag I had pre-packed the night before. After the ceremony, I wasn't likely to return to this place, so I made sure to pack the things that were most important to me. Just the clothes I wore most often, along with my mother's keepsakes, which I always carried with me. One of which was a handcrafted sea blue aquamarine necklace. Normally, I would keep it in my side pocket. However, this dress didn't come with any sort of place for me to store the keepsake, so I made sure to safely stow it in my bag. While my family headed out to their own vehicles, I secretly snuck away to visit my brother. The only sound that greeted me was the representative echo of the machines that were keeping him alive. It used to break my heart, but over time, I found them to be a comfort. Knowing that they were keeping Edward alive, I gently bent down to press a soft kiss on his head. "I'm going to miss you so much. But I'm going to make sure that you'll be taken care of, okay?" Making my way outside, each of the staff members grasped my hand and wished me luck on the new chapter of my life I was undergoing. It made my heart swell with sadness, seeing they were all reluctant to see me go. "Hurry up, Evelyn. That's right, we don't have all day." One of the staff members leaned forward and gave me a reassuring smile. "Don't worry, we'll make sure that your brother is well looked after." "Thank you," I whispered. I turned back to face my family, and to no one's surprise, they were all seethingly impatient. My father couldn't have looked any less interested in what was going on. The only look Isabella really had in her eyes was eagerness, no doubt for the money that the Alpha King was promising them. Samantha was still relishing in the childish tantrum she'd thrown earlier while I was getting ready. Then there was Liam. The man seemed to look at me with loss and an unspoken solemnness. Was he possibly feeling regret? It shouldn't matter what he's feeling. It's too late. He's clearly made his decision and he's not going to speak up now. Nevertheless, I felt deeply helpless. It was hard to think that the pack members seemed to care more about me than my own family. That I made my way over toward the car but was stopped by Samantha holding up her hand. "You know that our car is too small and your dress is likely to get wrinkled," she said with a cold smile. Claire suddenly rushed to my side.
"No worries.
Alpha Alexander also arranged for multiple large limousines to pick up you and your family. He wanted to ensure that your dress stays wrinkle-free." "Really?" I asked with a hint of disbelief. It was hard to believe that this was all coming from the same man who was known for having a mean temper. Perhaps it was to show the king that he respected the arrangement that had been made. Claire nodded her head and smiled. "Yes, the cars will arrive in just a few moments, and also a delicious lunch will be served on board, so you can eat should you get hungry." I caught Samantha's newly soured expression out of the corner of my eye. Truly, neither one of us expected Alexander to make such a grand show of this arrangement. Either way, it left Samantha sneering with irritation. She folded her arms over her chest and pouted like a child. I could feel my face flushing under her words. I wasn't used to being treated with such extravagant care. Having never been lavished with so much attention before, I wasn't sure how to handle it. The journey to Kingston Hall was long and I hadn't officially arrived at Alexander's pack until that afternoon. All I felt was nervousness. When the cars pulled onto the Kingston estate, my eyes were instantly drawn to the vast landscapes that surrounded the massive manor. The place was surrounded by gorgeous, tall pine trees that bordered the property like a natural wall of defense. I knew the Moonstone Pack was known for their trading, but nothing would have ever prepared for the amount of various crops and resources that the estate single-handedly provided. I was truly captivated. There were orchards and organized sections of fruit-bearing bushes and vegetable patches, all of which were being tenderly attended to by numerous groups of pack members. Each one looked determined, focused, and well inept to work in such rigorous conditions. As the limousines pulled through, some of the pack members glanced up from their work to steal a quick glance at what was going on. I wondered if any of them knew about what was going on today. Everyone seemed busy at work, and there wasn't any other real indication that there was a wedding about to take place. My heart leaped into my throat for the 100th time since this morning when the car finally came to a stop. The actual house looked like something out of a fairy tale, as far as I was concerned. Silverwood Manor had always been a place of beauty and high social standing. However, nothing could have prepared me for the architectural majesty that was Kingston Hall. The place was massive, likely 3 times the size of my own home. Its light red brick structure was adorned with white marble and numerous carved statues overlooking the massive grounds. It was elegant but cold. Maybe it was because Alexander technically lived alone. I took a few steady breaths in, hoping to mentally prepare myself for the event that was about to take place. The driver got out and came around to open the door for me. With the much-needed help from a few of the maids, I was able to gracefully get out of the car without too much fuss. An older woman with a formal-looking uniform came out to greet us with a soft smile. "You must be Miss Evelyn," she said. "I'm Nina, the housekeeper here." "Hello, Nina. It's nice to meet you. And these people must be your family," she greeted. "If you will all kindly follow me, I will take you to the living room." My family and I were led into the front hall, where I was pleasantly surprised to find lightly decorated for the occasion. Small bundles of freshly clipped and arranged flowers were placed throughout the place along with delicate ribbons of white lace. The living room was large and decently spacious with high ceilings. The decorations were gradually carried throughout the place. It all looked unexpectedly respectable, given the circumstances. I really thought that for a brief moment, things were going to be all right. Maybe I wasn't going to regret this marriage after all. However, those hopeful thoughts vanished from my mind within seconds. The moment I turned my head to glance down the small makeshift aisle, I noticed that beside the altar on the right side was a wheelchair, a mask, and half a prosthetic limb. It was a terribly eerie sight, but it begged the question. Where on earth was Alexander? Where was he? Did Alexander somehow forget that today he and I were supposed to be getting married? I doubted it. Although I didn't personally know Alexander, something was telling me that he would never forget something as vital as this. An alpha like him wasn't prone to making careless mistakes. So where the hell was he? Nina cleared her throat. She appeared a bit sheepish as she spoke. Alpha Alexander will not be making an appearance, and these items are here to represent him. I raised my brows in shock. Are you serious? She nodded his head. What about his family? I asked. Again she shook her head. They couldn't make it today. What the hell kind of wedding was this? Nina gestures for the rest of my family to kindly take their seats while she goes to greet the priest. As soon as she left the room, Samantha broke out into endless cackles. Her face was turning redder by the second and she was gasping for air. "Oh, this is absolutely hysterical," Samantha laughs. "Your fiancé didn't even have the decency to show up to his own wedding. Clearly, he's not looking for a wife, but someone else to take care of him." My cheeks flushed with deep embarrassment. Liam lightly cleared his throat. "Samantha, perhaps you shouldn't." Samantha ignores him. "Come on. Am I the only one seeing this setup here? Just think how well you'll fit in here, Evelyn," she went on. "You were practically a servant in the last house. Now you'll be a caregiver to a horrible disabled man in this house." My heart sank into my stomach while an awful feeling washed through me. Samantha had always been obnoxious, but I never knew just how little control over her behavior she had. For Christ's sake, we were literally standing in Alexander's home, and she was utterly bad-mouthing him. What bothered me all the more was just how useless Isabella and my father were at that moment. Neither one of them even batted an eye at my stepsister's appalling attitude, that I turned and glared at the younger girl with anger behind my voice. "Shut up, Samantha," I hissed. "Even if Alexander is disabled, he still deserves your respect. These things here are just normal tools that allow him to be able to function." But Samantha merely smirked and shook her head. "Wow, you're not even married and already you're defending him. It's both sweet and pathetically sad." Right as I was about to go off on her again, another voice spoke out. "May I beg your pardon?" The tone was calm yet authoritative, sending chills down my spine. All of us turned our heads to see a man, sitting in a wheelchair while wearing a half-formed mask over his face.